And if you're just joining us, this is still a new day, your favorite weekend show on Signature TV. Welcome to our newspaper headlines and review. First up, Saturday Vanguard. On open grazing conflicts claim 2,800 lives in 5 years. On page 9, with rioters, why law against it has failed, and 2.2 million people displaced in Benue, Plateau, and Nasarawa. Just above the Saturday Vanguard mast, Jonathan Consulting, not out of 2027 race, coming from Brother on page 7. He can't unseat Tinubu, coming from APC, page 5. On 2027, Wike's shadow still hangs over PDP's fight to unseat Tinubu, page 13, with Rider Makinde's puzzle draws attention. On Home Affairs, Nigeria's biggest business empire x-raying the poverty industry in Nigeria and the rise of data boys, page 12. Nigeria still corrupt, clerics tell Tinubu, page 15, with rider legal experts interrogates claim with data. Man DG begs customs, page 27, with rider suspend FOB levy, clear ports congestion. We chose not to beg, but there's no work, blind Lagos couple says, page 23. Police arrest community youths who flogged officer for drug use, page 18, with why the officer impregnated underage girl, coming from youth president, and our children dropped out of school because of drugs, coming from community leader. In other news, Delta 2027, Omo Agege rebuffs pressure to surrender to Oborewori, with rather ripples in South over governor's defections, page 26 and 11 respectively. And finally, on Saturday Vanguard, and in entertainment, Afrima 2025, Davido, Burna Boy, El Grande, Toto set for shutdown with rising stars, page 26. Over to the Saturday Times, above the mast, 2009, I beg your pardon, 2009 FGN ASU agreement remains last binding document, coming from Minister as he clarifies, page 6. Support fund, don't push our members into borrowing, ASU tells federal government on page 9. Below the Saturday Times mast, residents, stakeholders back closure of Mokwa IDP camp, page 2. On entertainment, debate as Patience Ume questions Choma Chukwuka's role. I'll take that again. Debate as Patience Ume questions Choma Chukwuka's role choices. On page 4, police invite senator over alleged threats to Cardinal governor's life. Page 2, NIMC database intact, never breached, boss insists. And then on page 5, 2.5 billion naira donation to UVTH, group blasts Okpebolo, says it's uncalled for. And finally, on Saturday Times on page 14, ex-Super Eagles striker Anthony Uja retires from professional football. Next up, Weekend Trust. We must avoid Rwanda type of conflict, coming from Alhaji Lawal Sani on page 12. Inside Banitry in Northwest, page 27. Rivers votes in highly contested polls, page 34. Boldly written in front of the Weekend Trust National Daily, in 2 years, Lagos gets 3.9 trillion naira project, page 4. Still on Weekend Trust, Alabarago Market demolition, our story by traders, page 9. Federal government makes U-turn, admits agreement with ASU, page 16. And finally, another Katsina local government area signs peace deal, page 16. Saturday Independent, above the mast. And on entertainment, why I believe the devil controls music industry, coming from Nice, page 15. Why I cast my son Tega in Revelations, coming from RMG, page 20. Single and searching, how youth silently battle frustrations in Nigeria's marriage market. Still on entertainment, I'm the Davido of the live band industry, but not famous yet. Coming from SB Live. In other news, Afenifere expresses concern over kidnapping in Kwara, Ogun, and others. Page 3. Rivers State uncovers 5,297 ghost workers and 6,314 ghost pensioners. Page 4. 2024 Budget Office explains delay in implementation reports, pledges timely releases by September 2025. Page 6. And finally, on Saturday, Independent, Sarah Kuponi, Nigeria's Pad Queen, champions first ever menstrual health summit. Page 31. On Blueprint Weekend, racism claims Kemi Badnak reaping fruits of the seed she sowed coming from Nigeria as she's in a lose-lose situation, says diplomat. Her story, a warning against self-denigration for assimilation. Never forget, chastise your roots. Pages 8 and 9 of Blueprint Weekend. In sports, World Cup qualifiers, Shell settles for Nwabali, 22 others. FCT NUJ slams Nigeria Railway Corporation MD with harassment and intimidation of NTA reporter. Lagos records 8,692 cases of sexual abuse in 1 year. Page 7. Calm returns as police youths clash in Lagos. Page 11. And finally, on Blueprint Weekend, equities market sustains bearish run, sheds 165 billion naira. Next up, Saturday Tribune, and above the mast, Glo thanks Nigerians for 22 years of support and patronage. Page 5. ADC woos Jonathan for 2027 race. Page 4 with riders. Ex-president weighs party options. APC Maxim says he cannot defeat Tinubu. Killing of soldier. Bauchi police appeal for calm. Set up investigative panel. Page 6. We are facing the worst bandit attacks in Kwara. Calm returns after police youths clash in Lagos. Kidnappers abduct FMC worker in Ondo. Colleagues threaten strike. Still on politics, APC, PDP ignoring insecurity, hunger, public anger in favor of power-sharing games ahead of 2027. Dalong. Niger Delta youths condemn call for sack of NNPCL boss. I doubt our only child's paternity. I want DNA test, man tells court. Our child belongs to him, according to wife. He married me for my property, later deserted me because I'm barren, woman tells courts. Over to Saturday Punch. How land grabbers led Nasarawa policemen to kill 7 in Lagos market. Beyond limitations, content creators turning struggles to wealth. Mixed fortunes as power supply improves with riders Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Ekiti, Delta, Bayelsa residents load steady electricity. Band A customers groan as Ondo, Sokoto, Yobe, FCT decry poor supply. Risky pleasure. Nigeria's underground sex lubricant market run from living rooms. Abusing marriage. Lagos records 8,692 domestic violence cases. Protest rocks Lagos community as cops gun down motorists. I expect my husband to walk through the door, widow of slain banker says. And finally, on The Punch, 30 states set for youth conference. Varsity profs demand 2.5 million naira salary. The Matrix. GTCO boosts GT Bank's recapitalization drive with fresh injection of 365 billion naira. On sports, Liverpool table fresh EPL record, £113 million bid for Isaac. I never trolled Wizkid, says Steve Savage. Nati NMPC Limited to set up technical committee to enhance extractive sector governance. Rather, NNPC Limited, we envision, should compete with Aramco, Qatar Energy, and Petronas, coming from Orji. In 2027, by Jonathan Kant defeat Tinubu, coming from APC. Amid outrage, an emergency rule, Rivers local government election holds today. With riders, election conducted by sole administration, or rather, election conducted by sole administrator is unconstitutional, coming from IPAC and others. And adequate security has been put in place to protect lives and properties, coming from RSIEC. Still on the matrix, Nigerians to pay mandatory $80 duty on all US-bound shipments, coming from NIPOST. Obi Islam's passport fee hike says it shows federal government's disconnect from Nigerians. Albert Tinubu if ADC fields Obi in 2027, coming from Adeyanju. And finally, on the matrix, federal government poised to unlock Nigeria's geoheritage sites potential through collaboration. Next up, the Guardian Weekend. On Lagos Live, 5 years after master plan expired, Lagos still in search of safe drinking water. And inside stuff, Tinubu should overhaul NTA as voice of Africa. Spotlight, Nigeria at TICAD9 forging a stronger partnership with Japan. Below, the Guardian Weekend, mass medical tourism reversal narratives, a myth or reality, pages 8 and 9. Ogun releases land for Ijebu-Ode inland dry ports. If you are not running from justice, submit to EFCC's investigation, group tells Haskell. Economic financial crimes fuel insecurity in ECOWAS region, say stakeholders. Education minister makes U-turn, admits federal government and ASU signed agreement in 2009. Finally, federal government explains non-publication of budget implementation report since second quarter of 2024. And that's how much we can take on our newspaper headlines this morning. And our review and our reviewer is in the studio to do justice to our newspaper review. Good morning, Chris, the Oracle Maduka. Good to have you again this glorious morning or new day. How are you doing?
Good morning, Chigi.
Good morning.
Are you in the habit of getting more beautiful every day?
Oh my goodness.
Well, okay, I'm saying what I've seen. When it comes to my mind, I say it with my mouth.
You say it the way it is.
Yeah, so.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate.
Well, just thank you, no very much. That's how I get.
All right.
Okay. That's a welcome to another day on Signature TV New Day newspaper review. Mm-hmm. Let's start with Vanguard. And the Vanguard open grazing. If you ask me, I'll call open grazing open wound that Nigerians are dealing with. And, when you are dealing with an open wound, you have flies that will follow you. For whoever fetches ant-infested firewood has invited lizards for a very courtesy visit. So why shouldn't Nigeria open their eyes and speak truth to authority and stop open grazing? Why? My father said that when truth is subdued, then bribery has taken place. Somebody has greed somebody's hands. Or once truth is suppressed, greed, selfishness. Who is benefiting from open grazing? And look at the number of lives. This is gross misuse of data. When the Vanguard get this such data, many millions of Nigerians have died on open grazing, header farmer crash related issue. Where did they get to them in 5 years? This is another injustice. I don't know, some of these newspapers, if they don't have facts, they should better keep quiet. Who are they trying to sound politically correct? With things that me and you can see. Ask anybody in Nigeria that in 5 years, only 2,800 people have died from open grazing and associated crashes. It's not only false, it's insensitive and wicked. Tell Nigerians the truth. This is, and why I'm saying this is that we all know, assuming we are working with 2,800, for the politicians, these are potential voters. Yeah. And they are warming up to 2007 to 2027, where 2,800 votes has been killed. Why wouldn't they, if they really care, sit down in the National Assembly and call a spade and pass these laws, stopping open grazing, let people come and do ranching? That is what is in vogue. And Nigeria said they are part of the world, the global world in 2025. And we are deceiving ourselves. If we still want to go the nomadic way of the ancient days, before Christ, that's how we know people move from one place to. Why? It doesn't, I don't know what is arts. There is desert encroachment in the north. And these nomads don't find pastures again. And they're moving down south. These are what I've not heard from any narrative in Nigeria openly. This is a part of what is causing this. So these people are being encouraged. Every day they're moving down, either by road or every trailer that pass will dump them with their cows, and they'll become a menace. Because in everywhere you have good people, there are bad people. So the bad ones among them are doing some other things. Kidnapping, killing, and conniving with the communities to do so many things. Why, when they have ranches where they are coming from? And some people know how to manufacture what cattle and cows can eat. Just like in every, animal industry, they know how to manufacture. So the thing will boom. After the poultry and piggery and all those fish, the people who are rearing fishes and all that, they know how to get their food. Cattle will do the same because we are part of the world. And these are people in leadership travel around the world. They see these things. And that's where Nigeria, with all this nonsense, cannot produce enough milk. We are not rated anywhere near milk. So what are we talking about? Why should we? It doesn't make sense to me why we should still be talking about it. And we have government in power, and this has been an open wound. They refuse to heal it. There is this issue of Jonathan 2027 keep cropping up. APC replying to Jonathan will not unseat Tinubu and all. And Jonathan is saying he has not even taken up decision and all. These are distractions of politicians. They should talk to the issues on the ground. And leave 2027, when we get there, whoever wants to contest can contest. It's not I don't know why APC, as the sitting government, have left governance and are replying to anybody who, anywhere somebody fly crosses and it sounds, does this sound like president? They will reply. And they leave the issue of, have they replied to the issue of 2,800 people of Nigeria lives lost in open grazing? Are those people working in presidency, when they reply to whenever they hear Jonathan or B, Mark and his NBC or MDL or whatever, have they replied to that? Meaning, they know what they are doing. They know the issues they will reply to, but they won't reply to it. And they will talking like this. And before you know it, Nigerians will pick on these replies and they will make it narrative and they forget their problems when they get home. Some of them will go to newspaper stands and be fighting about this discussion. When they get home, they find out that they went home in empty stomach and they start fighting their neighbors. Clashes everywhere. Police arrest community boys who flogged the police officer for drug. I saw that viral video. Can you imagine? So what is police arresting those community boys for doing? You find a police officer with the Nigerian police ID card We find him with the machinery, locally constructed machinery used to consume Mpulumbiri. I saw it with my eye, and it's still in my video. And the village boys gave him their own treatment of how they treat their own boys who they caught in the act. Now police is arresting. Now, when the beating go viral, like we has gone now, what will they tell the people the reason why they arrested the village boys? The community boys who are keeping sanity in there. When they finish with the young man, they allow them say, don't come around our community to use your drugs. Do it some other place. And that they are disappointed you are card carrying, ID card carrying police officer in Nigerian police, and you're doing this. Instead of police to go and thank the community and clean up your image, they're arresting the boys. I will tell you. What they are saying is that police officers, you don't have rights when you see police officer using drug to complain. That's the way I read it. And I say good luck to them. Whatever you sow, you reap. So that means even the rich also cry. That means that even when you see father wear kaftan, that may be wearing trousers. Meaning that even in police force, we have people who are drug addicts. That's what it means. That's a very clear way. Instead of police to launder that image very well, they are using booger. You will not stop. The air has blown, and the people are seeing the nyash of chicken. So if you want to arrest the whole community, the police officer with Nigeria has shown that he is a drug addict. You know, and he was caught in the act, and he was filmed, and he has gone viral to the world. Instead of them to start making apology, they're making an arrest. That's another one. Wicked Shadow is still roving around the PDP, and I was saying, why not name that party Wicked Party? And then everybody goes to rest. So why are they struggling? I mean, over time, if something, my mother said, when something is too much on the top of tree, you see it on the ground. For PDP, Wicked Shadow has become too much, so we can see it everywhere. You can even feel it. So why they not go to CSC or wherever the racer party and said, let's change the name of PDP to WDP? Is it WDP? Anyway,
I don't even know how to react.
No, okay. That's about the Sunday Times.
All right.
The Mokwa people say we don't need IDP camp. It shouldn't be a struggle. They don't want IDP camp. They want to go back to their homes. Why are we spending so much money to maintain IDP camp instead of spending so much to rehabilitate people? Can't you see? Do the government really want people back to their communities? The effort all the ID camps we have around Nigeria and the number of people there, and these are mainly, if God knows what Mokwa is. Mokwa, while I was working with IITA Battle, it's a strong research site for cowpea. How do I say, the quantity of cowpea that comes from Mokwa can feed the whole Nigeria. They are mainly cowpea, beans farmers. Every small plot, they farm beans and they harvest a lot, and they know how they do. So researchers from IITA go to Mokwa and they just take to deal with. So they won't go back to plan. They don't keep them in IDP so that we can eat beans. After all, the president promised that if you Ewa and Agbado, so these are the people. Let them go back home and produce Ewa, which is beans. We have it in accessible quantity. Whether it's affordable quantity, we don't know. But at least if we have it in affordable, accessible quantity, then it might become affordable over time. 2009 FGN-ASU agreement is still the only binding document. Yesterday, I was saying the federal government was quoted as saying in a Nigerian headline, newspaper headline, that whatever they agreed in 2009 remained draft. That was what I said. If the FGN, federal government of Nigeria, is not telling lies, then it's ASU that is telling lies. That whenever there's two agreements and somebody is saying, you had an agreement for over 19 years or I don't know how many years, you are not good in mathematics. And in 2025, that agreement remained draft. Nobody has found it good to put it as a permanent document. It still remains draft. That means either the barber, does not know how to barb hair or cut hair, or The clipper, the agba that the Nwambeke using is not sharp. So either way, somebody is telling lies among the two agreements. If it's not federal government, which it will not come from my mouth, because federal government can't tell lies. But in these two cases, I don't know who is telling lies, or my mind is telling me somebody between ASU and federal government is not saying the truth. They better sort it out, but that's a lie, because Nipo Malejoku Akazodia. Then what else? The other one is that ASU is begging government not to make their members to be go borrowing. And I said, if ASU has not started borrowing, then they have been enjoying. And I will hear shouting for them. No, so you mean that since this ASU for hunger started in Nigeria, the members of ASU has not started borrowing. I have borrowed more than my children can pay if I die today. So ASU members, means your problem is just starting. They've not driven you into borrowing. Then you are still there, because I saw the other day, you guys are not happy with 150,000 naira pension for a retired. And I'm saying, you are still, because some people in Nigeria are earning 10,000 every month, who have worked 35 years. Some of them have not even gotten there. With this PENCOM, and the issue of this PENCOM, the day it will blow, the blood money, and what they do with PENCOM. And federal government sitting quietly. Some of them are in civil service top position, thinking they will still go back and face PENCOM after, if they don't sort it out. Because why should we have issue with pension? When the people working are not talking, they will come out and join. Very soon they will. Very soon you fade, because fading away like stars of the morning. We can trust. Yeah, we can trust. Says the River State votes in a highly contested pools. That their pool is not highly contested, it is highly controversial. But you cannot, live in somebody's house for the person. The Riverians and the wonderful people of River State have handled their issues, and they're going to the pool. We are waiting before 6 o'clock in the evening, before the day closes. We're getting the result of local government election in River State. Because that local government election in River State has been, I don't know, the checkered history of River State and the democracy in 2025 is something that the students should start from. River State need to be studied. This is the only state in Nigeria that is running military government when we are in democracy. And somebody called and warned, we must avoid the type of Rwanda conflict in Nigeria. If the people do not know, Rwanda, what they call
1994 genocide.
Genocide, that word. What is happening in Nigeria is more than genocide. It's just that when it goes to, when you say dog, chop dog, they are doing it smooth gradually. And people are saying, if they know, if Nigerians know where they are driving to, nobody should even mention that here, because if it happens, my father said, there's no one P is a he goat. That's how one P, you carry one P to go to, you bring the she goat from one P to manage. If one P, even if it gets to a point where one P will not even know the mother goat, the mother of one P self, it starts climbing only one. So one P has only punne, and you get to a point where one P in Nigeria has only punne. So only one mkapi now, Benata Yono. If you have mkapi, that is smelly rat that the house always long to. Cut the mouth now. And if you see chicken, as it will in Nigeria, scattering human feces with his legs, pursue it now, because you get to a point, you won't know who will chop the legs when it's cooked for dinner.
Thank you so
God
much.
bless Nigeria. God bless the world, and all the who are joining us. Remember, it's for those who deserve to be blessed.
The very reason why we call it the Oracle. Thank you so much.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.